let's get into our AFC Week 5 game previews. Once again, the Thursday night football game tonight is between the Colts and the Denver Broncos. If you missed that game preview, it is out now on YouTube. You can check that out and get yourself ready for the Thursday night game. But we kick things off today with the Pittsburgh Steelers at 1-3, traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills at 3-1. The Bills are 14-point favorites in this game. This is actually the first time since 95 that the Steelers have been this big of an underdog in a game. Is this fair to a Mike Tomlin team, Aaron? Is this fair to a Mike Tomlin team to say, okay, they're 14-point dogs in this game?
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, the way they've played this season and the way Buffalo has looked and what the talent we believe Buffalo has, of course it's fair. Is it disrespectful? Yeah, it's disrespectful. Mike Tomlin probably deserves a little bit more credit than that, perhaps, but it's fair because they're bringing in a rookie quarterback on the road, and they haven't played well offensively. The offensive line hasn't been good. They haven't been able to run the ball. There's been some turnovers. They have to show that they get ball moving and actually score some points before we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. Yes, week 1 was a great win against Cincinnati, but now you look at week 1 as the outlier because since then they've lost to the Jets. They've lost to some teams that were like, maybe you shouldn't be losing to. And if you are losing to them, why are you losing the way you are? So yes, it's fair. I know we don't like to be disrespectful towards Mike Tomlin, and we all agree he's one of the best coaches in football, if not the best coach in football. But they are limited at this point. They do have to get things on the right track, and this once again proves without a quarterback in the NFL, and you don't have a guy that you can lean on and rely on, doesn't matter how good of a coach you are, it's going to be hard to win. It's going to be hard to win games.
Yeah, and this is we're entering a different era of Pittsburgh Steelers football. Maybe not a complete reset here, but if they lose this game, it would be the first 1-4 start since it would only be their 6th 1-4 start in like the entire Pittsburgh Steelers franchise history. So like that they don't start off bad. This is a naturally or just a historically successful team that just does not have bad starts. AJ, in this game, we will see Kenny Pickett be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers after last week, his game against the New York Jets, coming in relief for Mitch Trubisky. What do you expect to see in a full game's worth? For obviously the defense for the Bills is great. Like it's not, he's going to have a hard time, but what are you looking for and expecting to see from Mitch Trubisky?
I mean, finally to get to see him play within a game plan. What do the Steelers think Kenny Pickett's strengths are? I remember when we were talking about the Steelers in preseason, we wondered when would be the right time for him to start. And we thought about week 10 and how it'd be too difficult. And now we're bringing him in week 5 with the Bills defense, who is elite at the best and ready to make him pay. So I'm expecting to see what they are looking to see his strengths are. You know, is he and George Pickens going to make the connection more often? Is he going to get his completions to Pat Freiermuth, as you brought up, how he's going to probably be a guy who benefits from having Kenny Pickett under center? Is Deontay Johnson going to get the looks he deserves as a wide receiver 1? And how's that line going to protect him up against a guy like Gregory Rousseau, who's got 4 sacks on the season, against a Von Miller, who's got 18 pressures and 3 sacks on the season, and a Jordan Poyer and a Dane Jackson who've been playing very good in the back end after Micah Hyde's injury. So if this is me saying I believe in throwing someone into the fire, and if you're going to give a rookie his first go at it, you might as well get the hardest debut of a full game you can have. Because after that, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy sailing or anything like that. You're not just going to Kenny Cruz pick it all the way down, but you're going to feel a little bit more comfortable about some of the teams you're going to be facing when your very first full game as a starter expected to go in there and perform is against a team like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, this is not an easy task for him. Do you think that is Mitch Trubisky done? Do you think that we're done with Mitch Trubisky?
I don't think that you see them pull Kenny Pickett and bench him in lieu of starting for a game like they did in Chicago with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles. Can Kenny Pickett be having a bad game, and by the end of the third quarter, you're like, all right, we're not going to win. Go sit down and let's let Mitch come back in? Sure. But Mitch Trubisky is going to have to be one of those guys that kind of Aaron mentioned, start to know your role. be okay being a backup in this league, because at this point, that's what it looks like. You may get a chance down the road like Marcus Mariota got to start for a team that's looking for a bridge QB before they get their rookie to start going. But other than that, in my opinion, like I said, Mitch is going to Mitch, and he's going to find himself on the bench, and he's going to have to be a solid backup who should be helping Kenny Pickett grow, because at this point, you are the clipboard holder respectfully. Like, that's still important. Like, you have to be there for your team one way or another.
That's why I didn't love it. That's why I didn't love this move at this stage, because you can't go back to Mitch. I'm with you. I'm a believer you throw rookies into the fire, but I believe you do that from week one. If you're going to wait until week 4 and you're 1-4, at this point now, this is how I view the Pittsburgh Steelers. You've given up on the season. And I'm not saying they're not going to try hard, but I believe Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers are saying, we do not have the team nor the talent to win this season. Because if you feel like you have the talent to win this season, then Kenny Pickett would have been your starter from day one. So you obviously didn't feel like he's ready. And I'm sorry, with the limited reps that a backup quarterback gets in practice, you couldn't have told me after 4 weeks of that now all of a sudden he's ready to be your starter. So you believed Mitch was the better quarterback, which means you were wrong. And which now you're willing to accept Kenny Pickett's mistakes, because you can't, I don't believe you can be in the third quarter with Kenny Pickett throwing 3 interceptions and say, you know what, Kenny Pickett, take a seat, Mitch, get back in there. You can't do that. Once you went to Kenny Pickett, he's your guy. Through thick, through thin, through mistakes, through anything, unless he's injured, Kenny Pickett's going to be the guy. And yeah, maybe he could provide a spark, but I don't believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers' mind that they felt like he was the best quarterback for the job at the time, which means he's probably still not the best job in week 4. It's why I said what I thought was best was put Kenny Pickett in when you're out of it. If you're not going to start him week 1, wait until you're 1-7, 1-8. Instead, now you bring him in against the number 1 pass defense, the number 1 run defense, the number 1 scoring defense. And now when he struggles, what's the first thing he has to deal with? That's the first sign of adversity he has to deal with, is from the fans being like, oh, maybe Kenny Pickett's not the guy. We make excuses for guys we want to make excuses for. Last week, all I heard after he came in and played was he looked good, which I'll be honest, he did. But then other people were like, well, he threw 3 picks. Which is it? But they were tipped balls. Is he going to get the excuses of being tipped interceptions, and how long does that last? Because if every week you're throwing 3 picks and they're all tipped, or all the receivers fall, or then at what point do you become, all right, this guy's just throwing a lot of picks? So I worry about that stuff. The schedule's tough coming up. But they've gone to him, and I do trust Mike Tomlin, but I don't think you can go back now. I do think Kenny Pickett has to be your starter for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, I'm on board with both of you guys' statements on Kenny Pickett and the Mitch Trubisky situation. I think that I don't know if Mike Tomlin is that type of coach that will put his team in that situation where, like, he goes back and forth and flip flops between quarterbers. But Mike Tomlin
did it with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges.
Yeah, but
that was an interesting year.
He's done it. He's done it.
That's true.
He wants to win.
Think you can consider Mike Tomlin as a coach who just wants to win. He doesn't care about anything else besides winning. So maybe we do see that in the future, but maybe not so this game, because the Buffalo Bills are, what you just stated with their defense, very good. Their defense has only allowed 1 touchdown in the second half of games. That came in that Miami game, and it's not like they've played cakewalk teams. They've played Baltimore. They've played the Rams. This is a team that's very good, and it's going to be tough for Kenny Pickett in this game. AJ, starting off with you, who do you think wins this game? What's the score?
I got the Bills in this game. I think this is the first time they get to do what we expect them to do and beat a team down, not including week 1. Obviously, we talked about that, but I have the Steelers and the Bills in this game, 35-20.
Aaron?
I think Buffalo wins this game pretty easily. With no TJ Watt, it's huge for the Steelers defense. Their defense has struggled. I'll take the Bills in this one, 38-13.
I have the Bills as well. I will go 35-10. Buffalo Bills.